I've been a huge Saw fan since 2004 when the original film came out, and I have been going at midnight every single year since to see the new installments. I've backed up the bad things in Saw, and I've praised the good, and whenever anyone knocks it and says that they're bad movies, stupid movies, I always tell them no, they are not. They are really, really great movies with a great storyline, and just wait until the end and see where it's going because they said they have a plan. When it was announced that Saw 7 would be the final film and that it would be in 3D, I was a little bit skeptical, but everybody said to go in with an open mind, and so I did, at midnight of course, and as soon as the credits rolled, I felt like I had been slapped in the face. Just a heads up, there are no spoilers in this review until the end. I will give you a heads up, so don't worry about it until I say so. This is a really difficult review to make for many reasons. One is that, like I said, I'm a huge Saw fan regardless of Saw 3D, and I hate bad-mouthing the Saw series. It just doesn't feel right. Then there's Kevin, the director, Kevin Greutert, who was forced onto the project when he was supposed to go and direct Paranormal Activity 2, Twisted Pictures forced him back onto the project at the last minute, a week before they had to film. He was handed the script, and he just kind of was thrown into the mix. And I certainly don't want to place any blame on him, because it is absolutely not his fault, but Saw 3D was just, was not really a Saw movie. It didn't feel like a Saw movie. It really did not. And the worst part is that the Saw movies, of course, are known for their great twist endings and their twists throughout and stuff like that. The twist ending, the final ending of the final Saw movie, this series that's gone over 7 films long once every year, the fans guessed the ending after Saw 2. In fact, not only did we guess the ending, but it has become a recurring joke every year that this would happen as a twist. And we always said, oh, that'll never happen, but could you imagine if it did? And it did. It actually was put into a script. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, Saw 1 through 3 are an amazing horror trilogy. 4, 5, and 6 are a good trilogy of Saw films, I guess. And then, what? 7? I didn't even know they made a Saw 7. Now, I didn't hate it. Although when I left, honestly, as the credits rolled, my reaction was literally, these people, them, and I just left. I swear to God, I picked up my drink and I left. I was just very, very upset. And I am still upset, and I don't know if it comes off, but I'm almost like shaking, like even thinking about the fact that I'm doing such a negative review of a Saw film. But I am a Saw fan, not a Saw worshipper, so if it's no good, I'm not going to pretend that it is. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are trying to trick themselves into thinking it's really great or whatever, and I'm sure there's people that did enjoy it, such as anyone that isn't that hardcore of a fan that knew the ending since 5 movies ago. And I'm not killing myself over this. I'm not, like, pissed and, you know, throwing things at the wall, but it really is just not good, and there's legitimate reasons why. It's really, I mean, it's an opinion thing, obviously, always, but there are many, many ways to back up that opinion, such as the fact that in this film, really, nothing fits together. That we've got the story that we've been following along of Hoffman and Jill, blah, 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 and that's what I'm fine with, honestly. I just want to stick with that, you know what I mean? I want to stick with the old stories. But then we've got another game going on with Bobby, and it's just, what's the point? What does that have to do with anything in the Saw universe? All of the advertising and stuff like that for the film said, you know, all of my work has been leading to this. That's what Jigsaw says. Bullshit. Bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. What his work has been leading to this? This? Gotta be kidding me. That is another thing that I have to say is the marketing and everyone behind the film, liars. Total liars. 100% of the way. They all say, you know, oh, it's great, fans are gonna love it. They have to know that we were not going to love it. If they honestly thought that the fans would love this movie, then they are very disconnected from their fans. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying, like I said, the stuff just didn't make sense. The public trap, what did that have to do with anything? You could make up some convoluted excuse for a lot of these things, but I can pretty much promise you, based on how this film went and was written and how it ended, that the writers did not think of what you're thinking when you try to explain something away. So, Bobby's game, really no relevance, as far as I can tell, to the Saw universe. The Public Trap had no relevance to the film. To be honest, the end of the film had no relevance to the film. Seems like it was just kind of thrown in, and it doesn't even make any sense. There are a million questions, and I'll get to some of this stuff in the spoilers, but there's too much to even discuss. The acting, we got Dr. Gordon back, first of all, and he's revealed in the first couple of minutes. I saw the first 8 minutes of the film at Comic-Con, and it was basically the same. I wasn't a huge fan of it then, and I'm not a fan of it now because it was The Public Trap. The very beginning with Dr. Gordon is cool, then it goes to The Public Trap, and that's when it's just like... It honestly feels like the Final Destination 5, whatever, I don't even know what we're up to. But that's kind of what it felt like. And just right from there, I kind of looked at my girlfriend and I was like... I had forgotten how goofy The Public Trap was. But, yeah, so just right off the bat, it doesn't really start on a good note. Costas Mandylor, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name 100%, I hope that's right. As Hoffman, you know, he's cool. I was fine with him. He seems to be into the series, and he seems to really like it, but, you know, what's he gonna do if he doesn't like the script, I guess? It seems like he liked it, though, so I don't know, whatever. Actually, if I were him, I would love this script, because it's literally just Hoffman is a badass. That's the film. But, yeah, I guess I can understand why he would like it. Then we've got Betsy Russell as Jill Tuck, who I thought was awful. I never really liked her that much in the other films, but just right at the beginning, she's like running around. There's a part right at the beginning, like the first time you see her, it's the end of Saw 6, and the bear trap goes off in the doorway, and she sees it, and she just literally goes like this, and runs away. Like, are you serious? You're serious now, right? And I'm starting to feel like I'm bashing the film, and I really wanted to do this review and not bash it and try to be nice about it, but, I mean, it's kind of difficult for me because I just feel very betrayed by the filmmakers. Not the filmmakers, really the producers. And the writers, but mostly the producers. Very betrayed because it's definitely, you know, they took a good thing and ran with it, ran it straight into the ground, pushed its head into the ground and said, this is where you belong, you're done, no more money coming from you, that's it. That's kind of what it seems like. Getting back to the actors, I'm going to trail a lot on this one. I'm going to trail off completely from my topics, probably. But, of course, we have Tobin Bell as John Jigsaw Kramer, and he was in one scene, and he wore an Adidas tracksuit and a backwards baseball cap, so he wasn't really in it. Honestly, no, I'm just goofing on that because his outfit was hysterical, but that scene was one of the best scenes in the movie just because it had Jigsaw in it. Jigsaw, I mean, he was great. The dialogue really didn't make that much sense, I guess, to me. It was kind of just, you know, making it seem like this was like such an important thing to John, but it was still, it was cool just because it was Tobin, and it's nice to see Tobin. And who else? Bobby, the guy that played Bobby, I forget his name off the top of my head, sorry. But he was alright. I didn't think he was bad, really. I think he was a little over the top in some spots, but he was okay. And then the last person I will mention is the guy that played the new cop, Gibson. He was just slightly ridiculous. One of the first things that he said, and this is the writing, really, not the acting, and God, the writing. One of the first things he said was something to the effect of, he looks at Jill and he goes, "She looks crazier than a sack full of cats." What? I mean, how do you even, like, take that seriously? How is that even possible? I don't know. The 3D. Let's talk about the 3D. As soon as it was announced that Saw 7 would be in 3D, I said completely unnecessary. Why would they want it to be in 3D except to make more money because of the higher prices for the 3D glasses? And of course, I was right. I was completely correct. There was no reason for this to be in 3D. Yeah, there was some 3D stuff coming out at you, but it was totally forced. At one point, the producers definitely said, "Oh, this movie is really, you know, about the depth. You know, it's really... It really suits the movie to have it in 3D, and it didn't make any sense. There was no reason to have it in 3D, especially if it was just for depth, because it's a Saw movie. What do you need depth in a Saw movie? But they had some goofy stuff coming out at you sometimes. They had... Every other trap had spikes, just so that they could have spikes coming out of the screen at you. It was ridiculous. So the 3D, yeah, that made me mad, because it was completely unnecessary. Then we had to call it Saw 3D instead of Saw 7, and it was completely unnecessary. The directing... Like I said, Kevin was forced onto this at the end. I thought that the directing was fine. I mean, I thought it was a little rushed just because it's so short, and I wish these movies were longer. The pacing was it was alright. I mean, the pacing was better in Saw 6, a lot better in Saw 6. But, like I said, I don't even really want to talk about the directing that much, because, like I said, he was forced onto it at the last second. There's really not much you can say about that. I would love to know how he feels about the film. I would really love to talk to him about it, you know. But, yeah, so I understand his position, you know, depending on how he feels about it being forced on at the last second. But, whatever. It's really the problems here are in the script, more so. And also, David Hackle kind of started setting it up, too, because he was originally supposed to direct it. So, maybe some blame should go on to him. I have no idea. I don't know, but definitely not onto Kevin. And like I've said a few times now, the writing, I just don't want to bash it, but it was no good. So, I mean, the twists, the twists in the movie, they were really just like, who cares? Like, it was a twist that was like, who gives a shit? You know, like, it really didn't matter. And then the final big twist was, like I said, guessed by fans, made up as like a joke over the years since Saw 2. And they actually used it as the final twist. Can you believe that? I really cannot believe that I'm doing this review right now. This is insane. But yeah, so the writing was just no good. And just overall, Saw 3D was barely a Saw movie. It didn't feel like a Saw movie. The only good thing it had going, and this was the best part, and this was actually really good about it, was the music. Because Charlie Clouser comes in every year and does an amazing score, and this is no different. The music is still great, you know, if you listen to the score. I don't know how to compare it to other ones. It's all, you know, it's similar, but I really enjoy the music he makes for the movie. So that was good. That was definitely a good thing. Other than that, Saw 3D, and like I said, I really hate to say this, but Saw 3D was just no good. I can't believe that it was bad, and I can't believe that it was the final Saw and that it ended like this. It's heartbreaking to me because I am a huge Saw fan, one of the biggest that I know, and I went in really thinking, wow, you know, this could be great. This could be a great movie regardless of the 3D, and I trusted the producers, the writers, everyone behind it, that said, you know, the fans are going to love it, and that promised every year that it would be a good ending and that they had something in mind. And I just feel completely betrayed, and like I said, honestly, when it ended, it felt like I had just been slapped in the face. Like, ha! You waited around every year, and you came and saw these movies, and you speculated, and you defended them when everyone said they were stupid, and made fun of you for saying that they were good sometimes, and you defended them, and you really stood behind them, and this is how they repaid you. It's great. It's really great. Now I'm going to talk about some spoilers, which, I mean, I don't have too much to say because there's too much to say, and I wouldn't be able to fit it all into this review. So, I'm going to talk about some stuff, though, so if you have not seen Saw 3D and you care to be surprised by the twists, don't watch this, and honestly, don't watch this, because you might as well, if you're going to see it, don't know anything that's going to happen, obviously. So, hopefully now no one is watching that hasn't seen Saw 3D, and let's talk about some spoilers. Right off the bat, Dr. Gordon. Let's get this out of the way. After Saw 2, someone mentioned, imagine if Dr. Gordon was kind of helping Jigsaw. He was the one that put the key in the eye and stuff like that at the beginning of Saw 2. And people were like, oh my god, could you imagine, blah blah blah. And then in the commentary for Saw 1, the director and the writer, James Wan and Leigh Whannell, and I think even Dr. Gordon himself, Cary Elwes, I don't even know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. They said in the commentary that Dr. Gordon was dead. Then in the commentary for Saw 2, the director, Darren Lynn Bousman, said that that was not Dr. Gordon putting the key in the eye, it was just Jigsaw and he made him limp to give it some spooky effect because they didn't expect to have fans nitpicking so much, I guess, over the years. It was just not Gordon. It was not Dr. Gordon. So, when it turned out that it was Dr. Gordon at the end of Saw 3D, and it turned out that the recurring joke among the Saw fans on websites like House of Jigsaw and just in general turned out to be true because we always joked that Dr. Gordon would be part of it and said, no, that would never happen, it's ridiculous. When it happened, I was literally like, and I could not believe it. Really could not believe that they did that. Honestly, for a split second, I thought it was cool, and I was like, oh my god, Dr. Gordon is doing this, you know, and I thought that all that happened was Jill dropped off the tape, and we haven't heard from Dr. Gordon in years, you know, like Jigsaw never talked to him after or anything, and then he was telling him via the tape, hey, this guy was a part of, you know, your trap, you should kill him, or something like that. But it turned out he was part of it all along. Now, here's the problem. Dr. Gordon had a family, a wife and a daughter. What happened to them? Did he ever go home to his family? when he went home to his family, did his family ask what happened, ask where he was kept? Because obviously no one has found the bathroom. The authorities, I mean, like, no one has found this bathroom, and if you say he escaped and went back to work at the hospital, nobody ever asked where he was, how he got out. Are you kidding me? His wife and child, he was pretty adamant about finding them and hating Jigsaw and wanting Jigsaw dead because he tried to shoot Zepp, and then he just helps Jigsaw, like, just like that. I understand that Jigsaw kind of nursed him back to life, but are you kidding me? It's ridiculous, and I don't even have anything else to say about it. It's completely ridiculous. One last thing I'll say about it, though, is that, honestly, if they provided some kind of explanation, sure. It's the final Saw movie, and they have no explanation for a twist that they just pulled out of their ass. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry I'm getting upset now. I'm getting very, very angry, as I can see. Yeah, so that was just unbelievable. Completely stupid. Other than that, Saw 7 brings up all kinds of questions that we'll never have an answer, probably, because this is supposed to be the last movie. I don't know if they could answer it. I hope that at some point someone just answers it. For example, just off the top of my head, what was with the other two pig mask guys at the end with Gordon? Who the hell were they? Were we ever going to find out? Probably not. Does it matter? No. In the credits, they're just listed as random people helping him, so it's obviously no thought put into it, I'm sure. There was a scene after the credits in Saw 6 on the DVD that they specifically said would be mentioned, the writers said would be mentioned in Saw 7. Never happened. Not a single nod to it at all. They said that Seth Baxter would have something to do with the story from Saw 5. Nope. Not at all. There's just so many things that they said would be in this movie that were not in this movie. Ridiculous. One good thing that I just remembered that I will say about it is that they finally had a teeth trap, because I've been waiting since Saw 3, obviously, the poster, for a teeth trap. And I think that they did a great job with the trap, except for one problem. How did the numbers get written under his gums on the tooth? How did that happen? Does it matter? No. It really doesn't matter, because nothing matters in Saw 3D. It's just nothing. Nothing happened, and nothing matters. More questions now that I'm thinking about it. Who takes the photos? Hoffman's always looking at photos of people. Who's taking those photos? Is Hoffman a photographer? Does he have time to go take photos, then plan the traps, put together these massive, ridiculous traps, and then put the people in the traps, as well as have his face cut open and try to track down Jill and run from the police? You're kidding me, right? We had a dream sequence in Saw 7 with a go-kart trap. It was completely ridiculous. Jill's breasts fall out of her shirt in this trap after she's cut in half. It's just a Saw parody, really, this movie. It's just a parody of itself. Someone's in a trap where they're hanging from, like, the ceiling and they have to fall into lawnmowers. How they woke up hanging, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how it's possible. Then she just slaps the guy in the face and he's like, whoa, and falls into the lawnmowers, and that's hilariously bad. When Bobby's pulling the key or the hook, whatever, out of the girl's mouth, and it finally comes out, there's like a little bit of stomach meat that falls on her face, and he picks it up, and it's like a joke. It honestly feels like Scary Movie or something. It was totally messed up that Jill died because Jigsaw loved her, and he didn't want her to get hurt, and of course she died anyway. He obviously didn't provide her a way out, as he said he would, and then he tells Gordon if something happens to her, so he obviously knew something would probably happen to her. That was ridiculous. Jill did not need to die. It was kind of, I mean, and if she had to die, it should have made sense. It was just out of nowhere. The only cool thing about it was that it was the bear trap from Saw 1, but, I mean, it really didn't matter. Bobby saved no one. He didn't save anyone. He didn't learn anything. There was no twist to his test, really, except for the fact that his wife got just lit on fire for no reason, basically, in this giant rocket ship that, honestly, as it was, like, coming out of the ground, I really thought that she was about to, like, blast off or something, and I really would not have been surprised at that point. The scale of the traps, especially that Brazen Bull one, it was just ridiculous. Especially if it's supposed to be Hoffman doing it alone, like I said, and he's also worried about running from the police and attacking Jill and just all kinds of crazy stuff. But, honestly, I'm gonna stop just ragging on this movie now because there's too much to say that's so negative, and I really don't want to be so mean about it, but I can't help it. It's just, as I talk about it, I get mad, you know? And before you think to yourself, oh, this kid is whining so much about a stupid movie, it's not just a movie to me, because it's just been an experience every year, and I've got memories attached to this series of movies, like just the memories around the time of seeing it, the great times going at midnight, going and seeing the movies that were before that, like there was a marathon of movies before the new one would play, and I'd go see that every year, and just going with friends, showing the movies to friends on DVD afterwards, showing it to my mom every year on DVD because she couldn't handle it in theaters, showing my grandmother, she loves the series. Honestly, I have no interest in showing them. I almost hope that they don't watch it, because it's just not good. And, it's more than movies, like I said. It's a big part of my life, because I've just been such a huge fan, and I've been following it so intently for years, and just having so much fun, and to just get the slap in the face that I got at the end of Saw 3D is just very upsetting. It's really upsetting, and I hope that the producers see this and they care, or somebody sees this and cares. If not, would I be surprised? No. But, I mean, I hope I'm not placing blame on someone that doesn't deserve the blame. I apologize if I am, but, you know, whatever. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Saw 3D. Please let me know if you've been a fan for a long time, like a die-hard fan, or if you kind of just vaguely watch the movies. And let me know what you thought based on that, because it seems like people that aren't huge fans might enjoy it more. Let me know what you thought of the 3D, if it was necessary, if you enjoyed it, whatever. And let me know just anything about Saw 3D, whatever you want. And that's basically the end of an era. The final Saw, possibly, we'll see. And that's pretty much it.